What is going on, everybody? How's it going? How's it going? Back on the Shrine Kick today. We got a bit of dry and wet work to do. Dry brushing these, and then I'm going to do some water effects. Just the first layer on the watery base, and then we'll just shift gears and settle into the Warp Spider Phoenix Lord. Welcome, Alfarius. Welcome, Pyro. Francois, how's it going? Good to see the usual suspects. Yeah, the Codex roadmap, I can put it on screen, actually. I have that technology. It was sent to me, and I'm pretty sure it's a Facebook drop that isn't on Warhammer Community, for whatever reason. Let me see if I have the power. Okay, I can add an image. I gotta browse for the image. This is how it works, right? Here, like this. Yeah, this thing. It seems to be legit. Like I can believe it. And let's be real here. Like subjectively, I'm very happy to see Eldar is far away. Because I got some creative big ideas for Eldar. And I don't want conflicts of interest with what I have planned. But yeah, we'll see if that... I'm pretty sure we'll get this confirmed tomorrow, or probably even already, but... Yeah, this looks pretty believable. A lot of Chaos Space and Marine special snowflakes being covered. Pretty good. Pretty good. Wackawoo! Hello, I love your videos on thematic lists. They're so much fun. Oh, thank you so much. I'm always glad to hear when my videos and content and all that's enjoyed, so thank you. So for dry brushing these, I'll be using some old Dawnstone, and then maybe a bone color over top. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. We're going with the flow. What are you guys up to? What are you hobbying? You guys just hanging out with me? If so, that's pretty cool. I appreciate that, regardless. But it's even better if you guys are hobbying right along with me. Get that hobby camaraderie. Alright, let's see how this goes. The wash made things a bit more dirty than I expected, but it is a dirty wash after all. It's a bit dark, you know? To quote legendary character Ethan Winters, it's dark. It's also my first time dry brushing this kind of 3D printed texture, so I'm wondering how that's gonna read. Apocalypse plant. Welcome to the stream. It's all fake, by the way. The person who put it out revealed it to be fake. Oh well. There's that. If so, oh well. Look, I have been hoodwinked. I am desperate for a roadmap. It seems very annoying that GW is not providing one. Almost like they wanted all of us to get on the Age of Sigmar 4 bandwagon. I think this could do with getting a fair bit brighter. Let's try some... like Dawnstone. Yeah, this is considerably brighter. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. What's the worst case scenario? Just aerosol it again and restart. Alfarius, you're giving your Deathwatch some final love before they are purged. Big sad. Pour one out for the Deathwatch. I have such mixed feelings about that change. Well, you didn't have to have it all or nothing, right? You could have just had the Death Watch in the Inquisition Codex, a few units, as just an alternative way to play. Nothing wrong with that. That used to be a thing, right? You used to have units, multiple data sheets in different codexes, like with Demons and Chaos Space Marines. I was actually, my fingers are crossed. I don't want Eldar to be, I don't want Eldar Codex anytime soon. Keep it away. Is Deathwatch going to Legends? If that's what you're asking, I would hope. I would hope at the very least things which aren't being supported go to Legends. I bet GW is less than consistent with Legends support, which is a big shame. It's kind of counter to the whole idea. Okay, it's super subtle. At what, the 40k? Worst part is rules for the Ordo Xenos detachment are looking like a copy paste of the Black Spear task force, meaning we lost all those units for the same rules. Oh no! Why would they do this? Oh god. Yeah, I'd be so disappointed. Look, there'll be some players out there who will be pumped, like, yo, I love Inquisitors, I've always loved them, and Deathwatch were always, like, under the jurisdiction of the Inquisition. They're always tied in, but I'm willing to bet there are some people who are just like, I like my Deathwatch as a chapter that I can just combine all these Marines from different chapters and rep their origins and war gear, and particular heraldry or helmets and bits. I do, there is a bit of temptation. I'm gonna stay strong. I'm gonna resist the temptation to make an Inquisition army, but I can't hate the direction they've gone. I just feel like they didn't have to punish Deathwatch players in doing so. Four data sheets, two of which are characters. Would it have been so bad to at least include the mixed kill teams? How many more data sheets would that be? 4? You have your Fortis, Spectrus, Indomitor, and something else. I think. Now we get Deathwatch Kill Team instead. Yeah, it definitely sucks. I wonder, like, so my, I was going to, say something and I realized it is incorrect. I wonder how many competitive, you know, in quotations, tournament-oriented Deathwatch players are feeling the sad, or if it's virtually the same thing, like their lists are unchanged. It's like, oh yeah, I wasn't liking Black Spear. I would rather play whatever the strong Space Marine detachment is, and now I'll just ally in whatever I want. I am curious. I just don't know enough about the Deathwatch list structure and all of that. I guess with the benefit of hindsight, if I were to have made a thematic list build for the Deathwatch, I wouldn't be in this situation. The thing about dry brushing is sometimes you feel like you're doing a lot and nothing's happening. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now. Maybe it's just my application is too, my paint application is too subtle. Well, there's a difference in value, I suppose. At what the 40k, people who play Deathwatch at tournaments run them to have fun. If you want to win, you don't run Deathwatch. Fair enough. Wonder if like dry brushing is nausea-inducing for you guys. Well, we're just hanging out. No one's really watching, right? Just kind of got it on in the background, I would imagine. I feel like that's the case with most live streams. Excuse me. Yeah, I feel like that's the case with most live streams. Yeah, well, if that roadmap is fake, boy, do I want to find out. I don't like this being in the dark for what the next release is. All right, cool. That is one done. I like the look, so we will replicate. You can, with 9th edition Deathwatch Codex, but you don't do it with kill teams. It's the soft taco song. Well, that is quite a bummer that that leak was not true. Figured it would have given loads to talk about. I guess, what are the... let's take some bets. After Blood Angels, what follows? I wonder if that leak was a tactical leak to sort of force GW to acknowledge and hopefully release the true roadmap. How do I feel that Count Dracula is in Dead by Daylight? It's pretty cool, I guess. From my understanding, Dead by Daylight is just like an IP smorgasbord, right? Like all sorts of characters make cameos in various DLC packs. I'm surprised there hasn't been a Dracula already. Is it like Bram Stoker Dracula, or is it a Castlevania Dracula, or what kind of Dracula are we talking about here? How's it going at the Shy Onion? The next release is probably Eldar. Oh god, don't say it ain't so Alfarius. Don't tell me this. Don't play with my emotions. Castlevania Dracula? That is pretty sweet. What is a man? Does he say those lines? Or is that how it even goes? I can't remember. That's pretty cool, though. With Trevor Belmont. Hell yeah. I've dabbled with some Castlevania. I wouldn't say I'm like a super hardcore fan. I definitely haven't played most of the games, okay? Put it that way. But I'm familiar enough to appreciate the appearance, the nostalgia of a beloved character. I think we're ready for that final Brighter Pass with the skeleton bone. We won't do anything too big alongside anything too big. Blood Angel, Space Wolves, and Emperor's Children are all supposed to have large new model lines. Well, maybe we're still in the midst of the Blood Angels arc, as it were. What you're saying makes sense, Francois. Makes sense. Well, what are those animated emojis? Are those likes? Are those correlated with likes on the stream? Oh yeah, guys, don't forget to like the stream. It's very important. It's imperative. It's an imperative thing to do. I'm too stupid to figure out what SW stands for. I just see Space Wolves. I can't help it. I cannot help it. I honestly don't know why those emojis are bugging out. Maybe I broke something in YouTube Studio because they just won't stop. When do you think Night Lord's Kill Team will be released? Oh God, you raise an excellent point there, Cheyenne. I forgot that was still box locked. How lame. I don't know. Honestly, it's probably all Mastermind in such a way where they don't have anything else to release. It'll be the release, or maybe it'll just be part of under the radar, slipped in alongside some other product. That's a good question. I would hope, Cheyenne, you'd get your Night Lord's Kill Team individually purchasable by the end of the year. That's, I think that's reasonable. I wonder if that kind of information is something Spiky Bits would have knowledge of, just because I think they do a lot of tracking with regards to that kind of stuff. And then you can get a pretty accurate, I would think, estimate. I can spam the emoji button. Okay, well, if that's what you're doing, Alfarius, then at least I won't feel like I broke something on my end. Dry brush the shit out of this. Damn, this is dirty work. It is dirty work. But somebody's got to do it, you know what I'm saying? Everyone's spamming emojis on side. Okay, well, you know what? I'm cool with it. That's got to count for something on the analytics side. It's like YouTube algorithm will just be like, what's up with this one stream? It doesn't have too many viewers, but has an absurd amount of emoji interaction. What's that about? Take care, Shy Onion. Good seeing ya. Thanks for tuning in. 1 in the morning, eh? Yeah, that's reasonable. Totally reasonable. You rest. Have a good night. I bid you farewell. Alright, I'm gonna leave that. I guess these are looking kind of samey. This one's definitely brighter. But what are you to do? Just gonna have to make that one face the lighting. Oh God, it's fucking. There's rocks everywhere. Or sand. I can feel sand all over my desk. This is awful. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to clean the dry brush. My finger hurts. Well, Alfarius, I feel like, to quote Obi-Wan Kenobi, you've done that yourself. Oh, yeah, I'm just catching up on chat now. Yeah, Shy Onion was saying it's been 8 months since the release of the Night Lord's Kill Team. That's a fair point. Sneaks up on you. Yeah, that sucks. That's definitely a FOMO box out. Yeah, a FOMO Doc's situation. Feels bad. Just brushing my soap over here. Don't mind me. You were the chosen one. Man, the prequel memes are strong. Okay, so we're gonna put some water, some still water, in air quotes, on our base from last night's stream. Hopefully there's no disasters and overspill. It sucks. It sucks when, like, this stuff creates such a mess when it spills. So hopefully, fingers crossed, there's no natural disasters. I don't even want to tilt this. Okay. We put the lotion on its skin, alright? That's basically what we're doing here. Just a nice watery layer. It's so tempting to pick up the model and tilt it and make sure you've gotten all the areas covered, but all of a sudden you're just covered in still water. Okay, that should be sufficient. That should be enough product. And I'd love to bring this up close and give it a close-up, but it's too risky. Maybe it'll be for a YouTube post. Yeah, I think that'll have to do. You got a little bit of water on the rocks, it's okay. It is only natural that the water would make the rocks wet, right? Okay, we'll let it be. That process is done. And no disasters, which is always a win. Twice the pride, double the fall. Nice. What is this gloss water effect? This is AK Still Water. It's a... I really like it. It's probably not as versatile as a UV water resin, but this doesn't require any UV lights or anything like that. And it's not hazardous either because of that, so it's pretty cool. I do like it. I like the effect. You can see it on my Biel-Tan water bases. I think it's pretty cool. Okay, and we'll grab the Phoenix Lord and continue. I'll get rid of these tentacle arms out of the way, and I guess I'll just get in the swing of it here with the edge highlighting. God, there's just sand everywhere. This is awful. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna let them clean up. Just gonna put some water down, and then I just want to be pure, okay? I just need a workspace that I don't feel sand everywhere. I hate sand. Shit. Okay. Oh no! What's this error I'm getting in YouTube Studio? What's happening? Hopefully the stream isn't dying. It's a rough course and gets everywhere? Yeah, pretty much. It's rough course and gets everywhere. This is a legend. Love the prequels. Love them. You're playing Tacticus one-handed. Wow. That is quite the flex. Does it tint yellow over time? That's an excellent question, and I can't really speak to that. Now you got me paranoid, Francois. Now my water's gonna turn yellow. Ugh, I'm gonna hate it. If that's the case. Did your emojis cause an error? I don't know, Alfarius. I don't know. I doubt it. Maybe. Who's to say? Okay. Well, can you sculpt waves with it? Not really. This is more for like a still water. I think it's meant more for dioramas, honestly. This is for like swamps or puddles. Like it's meant for still water. I think for what you're talking about, sculpting waves and that, I think that's more for a UV resin that you can kind of move and then harden with a UV light. But I'm not like an expert when it comes to liquid effects or like water. Okay, so where are we here? She needs some edge highlighting, right? She got some red on the palette already. You must keep spamming until the stream crashes. Well, I don't know. That's certainly something you can do. But if chat doesn't like it, I'll have to ask you to stop, Alfarius. Personally, I'm indifferent. Water effects are something you want to try, but it's kind of an expensive learning curve. Yeah, it certainly can be. I found, well, the tutorial, well, my Eldar bases are based off of a tutorial I found on Instagram from Sukuru Paints, I think. I have links in my video for the water bases to his Instagram, where he kind of breaks it down fairly simply. I mean, I made a few modifications, but I don't know. I saw a simple slideshow tutorial on his YouTube or on his Instagram post, and I was like, well, this seems like a fairly straightforward procedure for water effects. Like, I felt confident in undertaking it. But again, it's still water. It's not the fancy stuff. Sultan Plays has a lava base video for a Redemptor Dreadnought he did. A Salamander's Redemptor Dreadnought. so that should make it more obvious to find on his channel, where he uses UV resin to make like splashing lava flows. It's pretty epic. I would recommend. Pretty cool. Pretty cool technique he uses. I can't remember. Something about blending, I think, transparent plastic packaging film with the UV resin to create a wave. I might be butchering. Yeah, that could just be faulty memory. I might have just made that up. It's still a cool video, though. You can check it out if you're into water effects being applied to terrain types you wouldn't expect. You've changed your mind, your arm hurts. Well, Alpharis, you can take it easy, okay? It's no one's forcing you to do what you're doing, alright? Classic Alpha Legion. Definitely gonna have to go in with the Scale 75 soft seal color after everything's said and done. My workflow is just too messy. C.R. Smith, welcome. How's it going? Warhammer 40k fun fact. Ogryn women exist. Two actually flirted with Jurgen. Okay, I don't know who Jurgen is, but it sounds like a lucky guy. Jurgen is Saphias Kane's bodyguard and a blank. Oh, very cool. His anti-psychic field manifests to non-psychers as a terrible stench. Interesting. Was the gag, or like the joke, that the Ogryn women weren't perturbed by it? Or am I just making things up or assuming incorrectly? Okay, this is I don't want to muck up those gems because I think I did a pretty decent job on them. A little bit nerve-wracking. Ah, C.R. Smith, I see. That was the joke. My intuition was correct. At least the book played for laughs. Hey, that's a good setup and payoff for existing characters getting into situations. I don't dislike it. Your fingers have determined they can no longer spam Alpharius. Yup. Hot take, Erebus is the best Chaos character. But no. Donnie D. Donnie D shows up with the no. Look, I think you need some good, hateable characters. I think that's important. Alpharius and Omega are like C-tier Chaos characters. Oh, what is this? These spicy takes. I like that I'm not the only one. Yeah, Lucius seems pretty cool. I love all the custom sculpts you see of him. So awesome. And that one artwork in particular where he's fighting Drukhari. I forget the book's title that's from. I think he's fighting a witch, and he gives me Venom vibes, you know? This big hulking warrior with a tendrily whip type weapon and a big tongue. Very cool. Erebus is the best because he's just unabashedly evil. He doesn't think he's doing this for good, he's doing this for self-gain. It's like Palpatine. Well, true, seems for Lucius. Yeah, I think that certainly makes Lucius more interesting, just to have Lucius and Erebus, that type of evil for evil's sake, not evil for I have a self-belief of noble actions in my intent, which is like, you know, your Thanos types, right? They believe what they are doing is good. I think you want both. You don't want every villain to be some sort of partially noble entity. You want some guys who are just bad. Oh, a new Lucius model? That's a very tempting model. Just imagining how good it could be. Like I think of the custom sculpts you see. That you see. I don't know. I've seen like loads on like commission service stuff on Instagram where people just do custom sculptures for people, and the Lucius ones are always like chef's kiss. You know, if it's anything like that. That's a very tempting model, certainly. I'm actually surprised Artel hasn't done a Lucius. Yeah, Karn is the embodiment of Rip and Tear. Yep, he is the quintessential Berserker character. Crap, this gray was way more watery than I thought it was. Just ruined that. Angron is the embodiment of daddy issues and angsty tears. I think a fair few of the Primarchs have daddy issues. It's kind of the whole comes with. They're stuck with it, is my point. You can't really separate that from them. This is by the nature of the story and setting they're in. They're gonna have daddy issues, all of them. Even the loyalists, even Gilliman has his feelings. One time Karn the Betrayer got a double kill, eh? Didn't even know it. He didn't even know it. Jeez. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. We ruined it. Oh. Sometimes you gotta risk it for the biscuit, you know? The only one who thought Bile was a Death Guard guy? I mean, the name fits, right? All the Death Guard characters are like puns, right? Well, that's not Death Guard, or it's not exclusive Death Guard. That's a problem of sorts across all of 40k. It's so on the nose, right? I don't fault you for thinking that, Alfarius, okay? Fabius Bile. Oh, Bile, for sure. For sure. It's disgusting. It's the Death Guard guy, of course. Alright, I think that armor is looking edge lit. Well, I guess this glove is missing still. If all chapter masters have a free-for-all, who's winning? Probably the one who just sits back and runs away. If it's a battle royale type situation, maybe a Cave-In Shrike just flies around with his jetpack, running away, slipping into shadows, taking pot shots, comes out on top. I think it's pretty likely. I am a Cave-In Shrike fanboy, though. I think he's neat. Cue the Linkin Park music. Calgar wins because of plot armor. I hate to admit it, but quite possibly. Like, if Calgar survived Vigilus, I'm just saying. Just saying. He might have his own Sanguinor protecting him, alright? Never mind Dante. When Sanguinor isn't helping Dante, he's helping Calgar. That's the new headcanon. Man, if Calgar died during Vigilus, I can't help but feel he'd be so much more respected. He'd be so legendary. And Vigilus would be this, like, set point. This historic battle. Even if he, like, if it was a situation where he died so they could win, and so Abaddon couldn't get control or something. That would be so cool. What's wrong with putting a model on the table that isn't alive? You can, like, can't we have battles, like, models? It's just, we're just playing a game, right? Can't we have certain models from a different time? Can't you have Ursula Creed and Castellan Creed exist in the same game system? Am I crazy? What are you guys saying on that? I feel like these highlights need to be basically green, and I'm using the wrong color. Let's get some Toxic Mist in the mix. Kato Sicarius. I think it's like like I get both points of the argument because some people really want their games to be super narratively driven, while others are like, whatever, let me go play Broken Rules. Hashtag pie. I see. I guess so. I feel like you can have narrative battles with, like, oh, I want to have a 40k battle, and I want my, let's say hypothetically, my Imperial Guard buddy wants to play his Castellan Creed because he loves it and painted him and all this kind of stuff, whatever. Cherished memories, right? We can still have a narrative battle, just not set in M42. Like, just post Great Rift, or sorry, pre Great Rift, we can have a battle set in that time period, right? You bring some Tyranids or whatever. You don't have to have Primaris Marines or whatever, right? If you're trying to be like fluffy, like narratively accurate, I suppose. You just use the units that would exist during that time. It's really just Primaris, right? Am I mistaken? It's like a few outlying characters like Ursula, but everything else would exist before the Great Rift, right? Like Lord Solar isn't new, right? Morvenval isn't a new figure. We're just learning of her now, but we would assume she would have existed before the Great Rift, right? Same with Lord Solar. Or I suppose they just be different individuals with those same titles. If they're not the same people. Also, don't forget the cool floaty Primaris tanks. Yep, those, all Primaris stuff is time locked in that sense to post Great Rift, post era in Donatus. But I think it's just Primaris stuff and like weird, like the odd named character like Ursula. Like every time a Demon Primarch model comes out, it's assumed, right, that this guy's been in the background and been doing things, taking names, right? And only now we have access to them as a model on the tabletop with rules. Right? Angron wasn't rift or warp locked, so to speak, was he? Like, not like the Lion, right? I think Demon Primarchs are supposed to be around causing trouble. Thoughts on Corvus Blackstar getting the transport keyword? My thoughts are GW wants to sell them, so they give a flyer the transport keyword. Is it only under specific detachments, or is it just flat? The era infinities. Yeah, I like that better. Autocorrect needs to burn? Yeah, probably. It it maybe helps more than it hurts. We just feel the sting more when it's not acting as intended, right? That's my glass half full take. Look, I'm a very optimistic, positive guy. My channel is full of only positive takes. This is a hug box where we love GW and everything they release. No issues. If you can ally in Corvus Blackstars as transports, I mean, I don't know if that's inherently broken. Aircraft, you guys tell me what you think, but I'm of the opinion aircraft are given rules. They're just so, the rules they have are so mishandled and counter to productive outcomes in the game. And it gives me the impression they are an exception in every way to the core rules of the game, and GW just gives them rules so that they don't work well, and so people don't take them often. This is my understanding. Again, please correct if I'm mistaken. But I feel aircraft have so many things going against them. The fact you could just move models to where they could not end their movement and now they need to fly off the board is just, this is terrible. It's such a feels bad, and it's so narratively immersion breaking. Like it shatters all sense of like, okay, yeah, that's because that's what happens if there's people under my airplane, I have to just fly away from the battlefield. Vegan cheeseburger, welcome. You're sure it'll be a dedicated transport for a kill team? I mean, that's reasonable. It should be for them. I just don't know how practical an aircraft transport is in the game. Right? Like, aircraft, correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't start on the board, right? You have to start in reserves. And then your aircraft arrives and it can't move because the reinforcement step is after the movement step. So then your aerial transport isn't moving and no one's disembarking until turn 3. Like, it feels, if my understanding is correct, it feels unideal. Aircraft can hover and not start on the board. That's true. Yeah, not all, but yeah, that makes sense. The Corvus could, though. That is true. I guess any transport aircraft. Like, there's not too many, right? Storm Raven, Corvus, Storm Wolf, probably. They all probably would hover. I mean, narratively, you would imagine these aerial transports would be able to hover in order to do their thing. So that's valid. But even still, the other factors aircraft have going for them. This is getting move blocked by people on the board. It's awkward, is my point. Fly used to be so good. Maybe too good, right? Circumventing everything. And now Fly is like not that good unless you're infantry. At what the 40K, I must stake credit card info elsewhere now. For now. Reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold, buy. Take care, Alfarius. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you had fun. They're 100% worth it for the memes. It's like the performance of any unit will always be contextual to the individual experience of, like, you know, the play group, proficiency, all of these things. My play group is more tournament. Well, they're not event based, but everyone plays to that kind of sensibility. And what I mean by event-based is, like, we don't often go for events, but everyone plays as if they are, right? Like, very, very tight lists. Most players don't take things that aren't good, in quotations, aren't optimal picks. Why would I take that if these are better, type of deal. The Legion Glaive with 8-inch pie plates at strength 8. The Cestus Assault Ram. Those are models I have never seen in person. Those looking pretty pretty thorough. God, that lower eye is a mess. But maybe it's, I don't know, maybe I'm making mountains out of molehills here. Maybe I need to change my perspective. Do I have my gloss varnish up here? I do. Nice. All right. Question, in your opinion, which Greater Demon is the hottest and why is it Scarbrand? You mean hottest like how do you mean? Like strength? Is that slang for most potent on the tabletop, or you mean hot like literally because he breathes hot fire? Or do you mean, oh man, this is, oh, we're all out of gloss varnish. No! Well, look. It lasted a while, this old pot. And I think it deserves a moment of silence for its service. We'll try a gloss medium instead. Obviously, the hottest Greater Demon is Shalaxi Hellbane. Obviously. Actually, I can't remember. I can't remember what she looks like. She, it, he, whatever. Slaanesh is hard to discern. My Shalaxi Hellbane in my army is a creature caster sculpt that I think is way cooler. And it was cheaper, which is a win. And yeah, if that's how she actually looked, I'd go with that. But yeah, this Scarbrand's pretty cool. He's got a cool Gorilla Grodd thing going on with his strength. Maybe Gorilla Grodd's a bad example. He's like a smart ape, right? He's got a cool primal strength. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. He's got an aura of primal strength is what is what Scarbrand has. Okay, let's try some of this gloss medium on these spirit stones and see if they help them pop. I'm hoping they do. I think if I put too much on, it'll just get cloudy. Or will the gloss be enhanced? Well, it'd be a shame if it's cloudy or clumpy, and then the model gets ruined. Been working on this model for quite a while, and maybe it's time to stop. Maybe. You know, the base is going to take a few layers of the water basing steps, as per the video, but as far as the model goes, maybe it's done? I don't know. There's a bit of cleanup I can see everywhere. I feel like the more I look at it, the less done it is. The less done it feels. Do demon Primarchs count as greater demons? Those are the real questions. If so, I would probably go with Mortarion. I think he rolled the 20, so to speak, on the Nurgle aesthetics. Everyone else is going through their Nurgle transformation, right? Like the whole Legion, the whole Death Guard Legion is transforming under Nurgle's influence, right? And they're all getting fat and ugly, and he's just getting cool. He's just getting a very cool kind of physique, and he gets wings for whatever reason. Well, that's because GW has to give everybody wings. But I feel like Mortarion rolled super hot on the aesthetics. Bloodthirsters have armor on Spruce, but only have a 4-up. Yeah, demons... Well, I think invulnerable saves are a bad system. I made a video on it. I think it's bad design. And demons are disproportionately affected by invulnerable saves in such an awkward way where they're just vulnerable to things that are otherwise weak. And it makes infantry demons that are low toughness very awkward in practice. Greater demons can kind of skirt that narrative dissonance through their high toughness, right? I remember being so disheartened at the start of 10th edition when I'm like, oh, here's my 130 points of Demonettes, and my buddy Army's like, okay, here's 50 points of Cultists, Dark Pact, Rapid Fire, Sustained, they're dead. All your Demonettes are dead. I'm like, what is... Oh my god, this is terrible. No staying power. Yeah, demons are awkward. Well, because invulnerable saves are awkward. Demons should have an armor save. Hot take. Hot take. The game system is designed for, like, these very particular steps of the attack sequence, and demons kind of not engaging with the only defensive aspect that involves a little bit of luck, like a test, a 2-factor test, hurts. Against small arms fire, of course. Against big AP, the vulnerable save is there. It feels valuable. Damn, Pilot Wings soundtrack. Super chill. Do I go to my local game store often? Indeed. Well, I try to. Summertime's a bit busy, but I try to usually go to the local gaming store once a week, give them some support, see the gang, you know, that sort of thing. Where's my black paint? Jeez. It's always in the last place you look. I hate how cheap demons are, though. It's hard to wipe a bunch of 20-man squads that move like 9-inch can assault and charge. Slaanesh is rough, in my opinion. Interesting. Interesting. They are fast, and in fairness, like that, the experience I described, I'll concede a little bit of ground on that, because it was from a point of inexperience engaging in 10th edition. It was like the first game of the edition, and cultists aren't now what they were then, to put it as simply as I could. Oh, last time we played against demons was 7th edition? Oh yeah, well, yeah, different editions will be different, obviously. So, never mind. Yeah, look, Slaanesh in theory, Slaanesh is super deadly, right? Glass cannons, no staying power, but they should have flip power. They should be able to flip anything of equivalent weight. Just given how swift and strike first and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't expect Slaanesh to stand on an perform an action and stand on an objective and have it be completed, right? That's not to their characteristic. But in the particular example of fodder units shooting at them that are like a third of their points, I would expect the demons to at least survive, right? That is, I guess, the extent of my point from earlier. Soft seals look good. I guess the face is good-ish. Man, camera adds 10 pounds, though. Yeah, they fight up surprisingly well in max demonettes. Yeah, like demonettes should be able to punch up. Well, they're also they're so lightweight. Like you'd hope they could punch up. Well, I get the sentiment. The larger contributor to my inability to enjoy demons in 10th edition is because the rules are essentially favoring a mono, not a non-mono, like a soup, a Be'lakor soup kind of formation. All right, your enhancement and suite of tools are all seemingly designed to make the most of a group chaos soup multi-mark situation type of army. And that's not how I like to play my Slaanesh demons. Hence the Slaanesh demons. Yeah, so I think when a Chaos Demons Codex comes out, the detachments gotta be like they have to be mono detachments, right? For those players, like what unit types exist? Like they're not gonna have a chariots detachment, right? Like it's absurd, right? Like you can't divide demons the same way as with all these other factions with their different types of units. Though a chariot detachment is very funny. I think of I think of like Prince of Egypt or something. Was racing around with chariots. It'd be funny for the memes. It's like, who's gonna stop this demonic invasion? There's chariots everywhere. And in comes Logan Grimnar, riding in on his Santa sleigh. Now that's what I call narrative. Oh crap, I'm doing this backwards. You'd want your brighter color on the opposite side. Man, I wish I could paint eye lenses in that way that you would see the heavy metal people paint eye lenses in like old White Dwarfs. That gemstone eye lens. Oh, it looked so good. Maybe that's how they still paint them, and I just haven't noticed on the Primaris models. Maybe they stopped. I don't know. I want the 40K. Okay, cool. Because I have a question for you and men in general. Your local game shop. Why? Local game shop. Why do you think you're so slick when we can see you looking? Stop being creepy or say something. Wait. Hold on. Let me retry. Why do you think you're so slick? We can see you looking. Stop being creepy. Or like say something. Don't just stare. Are you talking about guys at local game shops creeping on women? Is that the subtext here? If I had to guess, and if that's the case, and if I had to guess, I suppose it's because, and I don't want to speak in stereotypes. I don't want to perpetuate stereotypes, is my point. But I think a lot of guys at local game shops maybe don't have, I don't know, the confidence maybe to, go up and talk to women directly. Maybe, if that's what we're talking about here. Okay, yeah. So, if I had to guess, this is my totally, like, again, I don't want to perpetuate stereotypes, okay? But, so many caveats and buts, and, guys like looking at, I don't know, they're animals, right? That sounds so stereotypical as an answer, but, you see a lady, and you look because women are pretty, right? And I don't know. Or maybe women don't come in the game store often, and then everyone's like, oh, what's that? A lady. Maybe it's one of those situations. I don't know. Couldn't say for certain. I think it's gonna be contextual. My local game store is only full of cool dudes, okay? Cool, regular Joes. There's regular people, no weirdos. Everyone's socialized, okay? It's an interesting question, though. It's certainly a, like I said, I don't like to perpetuate stereotypes, but often is the case. Stereotypes are perpetuated, or they become a stereotype because of a commonality, right? I think it's a scene that most people are familiar with. A woman enters the game store, and everyone starts like sucking in their guts. That sort of thing. That sort of scene. Oh no. Oh no. This is what I get. For being loosey-goosey with my paint consistency. Okay, you know what? I don't want to put it on. I want to believe that I'm done. You know that feel? You guys know that feel where you're working on a model for so long, you're like, I'm done, right? Like there's nothing left. And then I don't know, I feel like I'll come back to this and then I'll be like, oh no, look at all these areas. This could use some cleanup. Sear Smith guys are animals in quotes? Yeah. I don't know. Even that's a stereotype, right? Like a meme. Conversations change, attention is lost, it's a distraction. I support men being an environment for men to be men, where there is natural conversations and attention is maintained. I don't like that feminism has given women the impression they deserve to invade all men's spaces. Well, I understand what you're saying, Francois, but I hesitate to say a local gaming store is a men's space. Like, fundamentally, you know? It kind of might have taken on that form because of the time and history of the hobby and those who engage in it. But I don't think it's fundamentally a men's space. Does that make sense? Does that track with you? Goblin. Oh yeah, welcome, Goblin. Yeah, Goblin has a pretty interesting point here. Yeah, I think unless you're trying to engage with someone and break the ice, or unless you're trying to start up a conversation with someone, you're not. Generally, people just don't go up and break the ice in terms of a interaction with someone you don't know. That makes sense to me. You know, when I sat down to do this stream, I didn't expect I'd have this sort of conversation, but it is interesting. That's also a good point of Goblin. Sorry, yeah, words. Excuse me. I didn't get a ton of sleep last night. Words are hard. Goblin has a good point. There is that the whole pandemic effect. I feel like, at least where I am, most people seem to be back to normal. But you don't know everybody, and who's to say? You know, who's to say that guy who's standoffish isn't some anxiety-riddled person who fears for disease or whatever. The Boy Scouts of America is filled with girls. I don't know. I don't know, Francois. I don't know. From what I understand, the Boy Scouts of America thing is more of a financial problem than the inclusion of women is more of a, and I could be wrong on this, but I believe it's the acceptance of girls into the Boy Scouts of America was because they were struggling financially and need to basically get their numbers up. And what's a good way to double your your demographic? It's to include girls, right? I mean, like, that being said, like, I'm not against boys only things, but I just don't know if a local game store. It's not a claim I feel confident in making. It's like, I don't think it's a men's only space unless it is like that particular store is that. But broadly speaking, you know, there is an angle of craft that can appeal to women in 40K 100%, even if wargaming in air quotes is like a men's majority kind of leaning activity, right? But the craft of 40K, like the hobbying, the painting, I think that's fairly universal to anyone who's creative. Well, if I just think about it in that way, right? That seems to track. Brother of Titans, welcome. A lot of people I know, including me, have been trying to be more social since the pandemic, since how isolated we became. So I feel like I can go both ways. Or if you feel like it can go both ways. Makes sense. Okay. That makes much more sense. Yeah, I agree with Sierra Smith. I don't think a game store, like, you could, like, if someone really wanted to, they could create like a men's only, I don't know, gaming club or whatever, and that's what that is, right? And then if it develops an audience, awesome, right? But as a categorical distinction of gaming store or local game stores, I don't think it's I wouldn't say it's a men's only thing. Like, you know, like trading cards, comics, like, there's a lot of things at game stores that are art oriented that interest everybody, you know, like, regardless of gender. It's just story and creativity kind of angle, I think, appeals to all. Does that make sense? You guys feeling that argument? I feel like it's decent. I swear, if you listen to Banjo-Kazooie music long enough, you might go crazy. It's like insane asylum music. Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear the music, but I think, yeah, on yesterday's stream you guys said you couldn't hear it, so disregard. Well, at least you can see what I'm listening to, if you can't hear it. Yeah, like, I'm not suggesting a sign on the door, but wargaming is a space that can more easily be subject to gatekeeping. Maybe it's something to do with how groups of men tend to behave with each other. There's part of that, Goblin. That's... Yeah, there's a freedom that comes to behavior when women aren't around that men can indulge in. 100%. Yeah, that's true. You're kind of free. You're free to act and have fun. Sierra Smith, you say, but why? It's not like we're going to bite off your head or laugh at you. Well, maybe at with a 40K's attempt at painting water. How rude. How rude. It's a low blow, Sierra Smith. Oh, fair enough, Francois. Fair enough, yeah. If you're just answering questions, um, no issues. The discourse is amicable, which is always that's what I want, right? Regardless, so that's cool. I like that. Sorry, brother of Titans. I was catching up on. I was catching up on chat. These more lively streams I've been doing the last few days are intriguing. I don't know. I probably don't do as much painting because of it, but maybe that's better content, better interaction with you guys, and all that. But to answer your question, brother of Titans, do I plan on running her on the tabletop? Yeah. So my play group leans pretty heavily towards GW rules only. We play as if we're going to tournaments, but I'm slowly chipping away at their at their armor here. So maybe I'll be able to play this model as a custom Phoenix Lord on friendlier games. Obviously, nothing serious match play. But I do want to do a thematic bat rep for a Phoenix Force type list, and of course, the Warp Spiders should have their Phoenix Lord, especially when the model looks so cool. Yeah, so that answers your question. I do plan on putting her on the tabletop. Hopefully, it's well received because it's an awesome model. That would be cool, Brother of Titans. Yeah, hell yeah. The Phoenix Force. That's part of the reason why I'm hoping the Eldar Codex is a ways away. I don't want... I don't know. I wouldn't want there to be a Aspect Warrior detachment, which there probably will be, gumming up what I'm trying to do creatively, right? But we'll see. I don't know. Apparently that Codex is fake and redacted, so... Not that Codex, that roadmap, rather. So we will have to see. Jeez. It's taking me, like, quite a bit of time even to feel like I've put together something comparable for the Word Bearers. That's basically what I've been playing since I made that video. Just like house rule experiments with the Word Bearers. What feels good? I'll probably make a video about that detachment and how it's going this week. Kind of like a vlog where you guys can critique it. But yeah, my point is it's taking so long to do the Word Bearers. I haven't really put any effort towards like a Phoenix Force detachment. Because I think it'd be so cool. And it would allow me to use a model that doesn't exist in GW rules. Oh yeah, I wish Phoenix Lords got more love too. Such a big deal, man. Like a Phoenix Lord is. I get it. Like you have to power scale things for the game as accurate as you would love to be with units and their performance. You need to power scale them for function so that people don't have feel bads. But oh, the concept of Phoenix Lords are so cool. Fun fact, canonically all Howling Banshees are female, but those who are born male can join them if they change to a woman because of Eldar magic tech. Well, today I learned. I kind of assumed they were a gender-locked aspect just because of the sculpts. Though you could have, from a modeling point of view, you could have a male autarch have been a Howling Banshee. So I guess it's like a loophole or something. Maybe it's like an honorary degree. It's like you weren't really a Howling Banshee, but it's like, hey, we like what you do. Here's your honorary Howling Banshee mask. Apparently, boarding actions has some alternate detachments, and then you book 55 detachments in total. Well, that's actually awesome. Okay, that's what I wish Crusade was. I wish like that's how you would do your side systems within 40k. In my opinion, like you just have a book. Here's an alternative way to play, and all factions are included. Here you go. No drip feeding. No. Oh, look, you're benefiting from all your Crusade benefits, and I'm just gonna have to wait until my book comes out, and then I guess I'll restart. Like, it's such a bad system. But boarding actions sounds good, and it was fun at the end of 9th. I did dabble. And I did that one thematic battle report in 10th. That was pretty fun. Seer Smith says at with the 40k, I think it would be like Terminator honors, but for space elves. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I wish Aspect Warriors could lead. Sorry, that doesn't make any sense. I wish Autarchs could lead Aspect Warriors. That would completely recontextualize so many things. And I feel like it'd be so narratively fluffy. It's like you still have the ties that bind you to the aspect shrine that you once served, you know? Lancelot. Ghost World Aspect Shrines. Very cool. A Ghost World of Aspect Shrines. So you would be like just aspects and wraiths, or just aspect warriors? Probably lots of shadow specters, right? They're big into the ghostly shtick. I think our water is yeah, so that still water's now, well, it's not going to spill over. It's probably not fully dried yet. But it's looking more watery, I think. Cool. Cool. Wraith Guard, Wraith Lords, and a Wraith Knight of each aspect shrine. Oh, that's a pretty cool theme. How could you have... I guess you just use Wraith Blades with swords to represent the Howling Banshees. They're not very fast, but the blades work well enough. Surprisingly, staring at people doesn't make me confident I won't end up on the side of the road with my kidneys. Yeah, I think most... It's out of context. Yeah, I can't. It's a fair takeaway. Like, what the fuck? GW, upon thinking about it, aspect variant wraiths is like a dead obvious thing to do. At the same time, I'm surprised because GW has been dragging their feet with doing anything with Eldar for decades. Yep, that is true. Eldar have a disproportional amount of love. I don't know. I feel like that's generally, by most people, felt like a curse, but it might be a blessing in a way, right? Like, I'm not envious of people who had whole collections of Space Marines for Primaris to come out, right? Like, there was a thing that happened when the Great Rift, and maybe everyone forgot about it, but it was called the Ynnari, and it was like a big reality shattering, like, I wonder if an argument can be made that the Ynnari and Yanid and Yvrain and all that crap is a bigger deal than Primaris Marines in terms of its narrative weight and what it means for that faction, right? And in the alternate timeline where Eldar are more loved than Space Marines, like, I don't know, maybe it feels kind of bad if everything gets redone and replaced with better versions of your models, you know? You want that happy middle ground where you get like Leviathan Tyranids or, you know, 9th edition Necrons, right? Where you get a nice refresh. And unfortunately, it seems like Eldar has been strategically chosen to be padded out over time. One aspect and Phoenix Lord per edition. And maybe a character in a group box, you know. Here's a new Farseer, here's a new Warlock Conclave, something like that. You didn't care for Marines pre-Primaris. I don't like most of their old stuff. The aesthetic was... Look. The sculpt quality, the aesthetic, the art direction was... Maybe that's not fair to say. The proportions were worse. I think that's a mild take. For Firstborn Marines, they're all squatted and proportioned so they look like they have really big bodies and long arms and all of this, right? But fuck me. Oh, I only wanted a little bit of this, and oh no. Look, see, everyone hates on paint pots, but dropper bottles have their jams too. What a waste that is. Now I gotta go find an Eldar model or something. Jeez. Gotta go find a Guardian. Gotta paint some Guardian helmets. I literally only wanted like the tiniest amount. The tiniest amount of paint for this gem. For Games Workshop, the question is, how do you get people to keep buying your product beyond a single purchase and once or twice per edition codex? Surprisingly, there are... Yeah, you're exactly right, CR. Exactly right. I have all the new aspect models. 8 start collecting. 5 Wraith Guard, 1 Wraith Lord. And a combat patrol. Lastly, an armor cast Phantom Titan. Wow! Phantom Titan. Look, 5 Wraith Guard. The Wraith Guard is like one of the coolest models for pose potential that has like no articulation. Like, if you do the work to pin and green stuff the joints of the Wraith Guard, you could get some incredibly dynamic, like, posing out of... It's like, it's such a lithe chassis compared to your Dreadnoughts, right? Your Death Dreads. So cool. So cool. You can find some awesome stuff on the interwebs of, like, crouched and in-motion Wraith Lords. Oh, they're so awesome. As of GW's last profit reports, they made 30% profits over losses. Amazon, 7%, Hasbro, -5%. Yeah, well, that makes sense if you you keep raising prices. Look, eventually There has to be a tipping point with the strategy of GWs. I'm convinced. You can't just indefinitely just keep increasing the cost of the hobby. You'll give me a single United States dollar if I pay my nails with that? No. With all that green paint? No, thanks. No, thanks. Surely there's a better use for... Like, Scale 75 is like... I actually care about that paint. That's good paint. I don't want that to go to waste. I'll have to paint something green. I'm trying to think if there's a... And see, the problem is for my salamanders, I don't use that paint. So I don't want to start painting an honor guard with that. I don't have any Eldar to paint either, other than Aspect Warriors, which aren't... I'm trying to think. Do any of the Aspect Warriors have that kind of green on them? I have to do some research. Yeah, I don't know. I think this, I want to say this is... We're done with this model. I want to believe, you know? Like Neo in the Matrix, I want to believe. Asking the personal questions, C.R. Smith. No, to answer your question, the answer is no. I am free. Free of any earthly tethers. We've nothing to lose but our chains. Gamers of the world unite. Very funny. Yeah, free is an intentional choice word to use. Yeah, but people are also getting mad at how 40k conduct themselves more and more, and the models being cool only help for so long if the price keeps spiking and the system keeps falling apart because they won't commit to any of their fixes long term. Oh, you're taking off, CR? Well, I appreciate the company and tuning in for the stream. You have a good night. Take care. Yeah, I agree with your sentiment there, Goblin. Eventually, it's like there's probably like a chart out there that tracks the adoption of 3D printing and the ease at which it becomes, like, the ease of its use as it increases over time relative to GW's price increasing. I mean, like They probably track very similarly, and then eventually GW will have to change a model in some capacity. Or, what's more black-pilled, I suppose, is they might just... If they're only driven to do what is profitable and just stop... We'll just stop, like, you know, we'll just stop making Aeronautica because it's not profitable. We'll stop Titanicus because it just no longer makes any more money, right? Maybe they just shift to a profit model that's just about licensing their IP. Because that is just more profitable. I think that's a big leap, but if the greed is willing, I think it's plausible. You know, the hobby community is basically like creating for itself. You have people making rules. Or maybe GW just makes only rules. I don't know. Right? They might have an official licensed... yeah, I mean, Outer Circle's spoken about this, the kind of route you would go for STL, officially licensed creators, you know, sculptors in that alternate timeline. Oh, Tiki the Hut. How's it going? Sorry, I missed your message. I was too focused on my painting. How's it going? It looks great. What camera am I using? I am using my cellular device, a Google Pixel A4, I think? 4A? Actually, I can tell you. It's plugged to my computer using a software called Camo Studio. Yeah, it's a Pixel 4A. I think the lighting is a bigger difference. The problem is my my model right here. Obviously, my camera is like literally a few inches above, so you get this cast shadow, which you guys can see. Unfortunately, ideally, I'd want my camera further away, zoomed, but you need a nicer camera for that. But I gotta say, not being able to access your cell phone, freeing you of all your notifications and temptations of social media, is pretty awesome. So I'm not opposed to this setup. I see why AOS is gaining popularity, because they are the second kid who went under the eyes of the bean counters at all times, like 40k is. And they can be more flexible than pure profit-driven. I think AOS probably has to be profit. It probably has to hit their targets in the same way. Like I wouldn't assume that, but I agree with you in that I think there's less creative. There's more creative freedom, right? There's less pressure, I think, to appease tournament sensibilities. I feel like rules writers for 40k are so afraid of doing things that are creative. They want things to be tight for this highly competitive, ultra serious war game. It's very, very refined. It's not that's more the impression I get. Now, I can't say for certain if I'm right and you're wrong or anything like that. I just, for your consideration, I'm just sharing. Yeah, it's, I look at AOS's new rules and I'm like, oh, the creativity. I love it. I look at it fondly and I'm like, in an alternate timeline. It is very intriguing to me. There is always a bit of grass looking greener, of course, but even the shallow dive I've done, there seems to be some mechanical things you can point to that are just like, okay, well that's categorical. That is more interesting. Wow, it looks great, thanks. No problem, Tiki. Tiki the Hut. It's like, is that a Star Wars reference? Is that like a Jabba the Hutt relative? Tiki the Hut? Interesting. I wonder. Earth-shattering profit isn't expected of them, and as the number 2, they aren't afraid of being axed, so they can just let it flap around the wind. With rules and lore like Fire Slayer in a marathon. Yeah, there's a bit to that. I think they could sell STLs so they could figure out how to only allow you to print a single kit. Francois. Yeah. Some sort of... Yeah, I don't know. It's not how the technology works. Yeah, so they won't unless that's the only way they can engage and be profitable. I don't think they will, right? I'm trying to get my guys together to play 4th edition. It looks fun. Oh, AOS, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, AOS 4th edition does seem pretty intriguing. I haven't been able to get a game in, and unfortunately, even though I wanted to, I don't know if realistically it'll happen. But it looks very narratively rich, is what I'd say. I left Warhammer 40k for both Action and Conflict 47, but 10th edition does sound and look like GW's attempt to make table sports a thing. Also known as T-Sports, like eSports. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. Oh, it's gross. T-Sports. Ugh. I hate it because I have a kind of dislike for the competitive tournament serious 40k gamer already. It's like not a lane I particularly am enthused by. But T-Sports makes it sound ultra lame to me. Ooh. I have Dark Elves painted as Drow. No AOS. As Drow. Is that a fantasy variant of Elf? I would imagine. Okay, looking at this, I'm so desperate for it to be completed. But the curse continues, I think. I'm gonna have to wrap it up and reassess with fresh eyes, as they say. Been looking at it for too long. Everything is hard to evaluate, right? You need to reset your perspective sometimes. But I'm hoping... Like, this is kind of harsh. So already there's that. Maybe this side should have more bounce light. I don't know. Gotta sleep on it and see. Let me catch up on chat here. I'm gonna wrap things up soon, guys. FYI. I just have Dark Elves painted as Drow. Yep. I think trying to tailor your games to ultra high competitive just brings problems. Yeah. I think you can make an argument that it is counter to the spirit of what 40k was initially set out to be. I think the narrative... I feel... And I wonder what a 30k player would say about this, but I feel like my sensibilities are more are more in line with 30k players, probably. And it just happens to be where my play group is and what I've developed collecting. Like, it's 40k, right? Where I am. So, but I think 30k players have more of that sentiment for theme and narrative over just pure crunch at the cost of the former. Interesting note to end on here. They keep taking my goofy bullshit away because competitive players don't like it. Yep, I've been there, certainly. Well, anyways, guys, look, we did some shrines. We put some still water on the bases. I did some edge highlighting, finally. Finally did some edge highlighting on the Warp Spider Phoenix Lord here. She's looking pretty cool. She's going to jump out of that portal pretty soon. Well, could it be next time you see her? I don't know. TBD. But thank you to everyone who tuned in and liked the stream, chatted. I appreciate the company and hobby camaraderie and all of that. So we will wrap this up.